very much, Dwayne. Well, what a magnificent game this is going to be. Well, it's supposed to be today, or hopefully it will be. And one of the big inclusions, or the big matchups today, I suppose, would be Brendan Vivola and Ben Rutten. Brendan Vivola, last time these two teams played high up the ground. Now, I think Brett Rutten was a little bit probably at fault for that. He would want him to play more at full forward today. And Ben Rutten, he's done a pretty good job on him over the last couple of times, or probably over the last couple of years that these two teams have played. Now, boys, I'm going to pose this question to you today now. If Brendan Vivola actually has a good game today and maybe kick 5 or 6, can he kick the ton? Now, that is the big question.
Well, it certainly is a big one today, particularly with those small forwards that are missing. Parko, no Betts, and no Garland, who kicked 4 goals last week. A large responsibility rests on the broad shoulders of Brendan Vivola.
And that's a bit unfair in one's state, isn't it, that one guy has so much on it? Because if they actually tandem him and make life difficult for Brendan, he kicks 3 or 4, you would think there wasn't enough support around him to actually kick a winning score.
Yeah, it's a star-studded forward lineup in terms of form. So many players that have kicked 30, 40, 50 goals for the Crows, with Tippett and Porplesia and Knights, who have been in great form. And then you throw into the mix Burton and Henschel, who have come back from injury. There's a lot of options up there. There's going to be so much pressure placed on the Carlton midfield to dominate the centre square. Otherwise, their defence is going to be under enormous pressure.
Yeah, superstructure they've got. The only one thing they miss is a small, quick-running, goal-kicking, crumbing, defending forward.
So it's on already in the goal square. Kurt Tippett being worked over.
Free kick off the ball.
So a free kick immediately and a shot at goal immediately for Kirk Tippett.
It didn't go against Thornton. The umpire looked back. It was Wiggins that the free kick was paid against for throwing an elbow out. Didn't do any damage, but high contact they frown upon.
Had the game of his life here in round 11. Kurt Tippett kicked 7 goals, 1 against the Bombers, so he knows where they are here. This would be the ideal start.
Yep.
Crowd booing. It's low, it's straight, and it's touched on the line. They get out of jail, the Blues.
Go in there, Jason. Hold it there. Thank you.
There's no real need for that, is there?
You wouldn't think so.
And cut off by Porplesia. He has the snap with the banana. He hits the post. Gee, are they what, getting out of jail, the Blues early here. That could have been a golden minute here for the Crows. Now, at the moment, the Blues need a couple of possessions to settle themselves down. Bauer from Thornton. Carazzo, the possession machine, to another possession machine. Chris Judd runs through half-back. Armfield, not a lot to go to, flips it over the top.
Now Fev.
And he's on the move and got it. No, got a hand to it from Murphy's kick. And close to the boundary line, Simpson might keep this alive. He can't. And we'll get a ball in.
Gee, they worked that beautifully, the Blues. They ran it through the middle of the ground. They linked up, found hand passes over the top. The only thing missing, I think Fev might have just misjudged the power on the kick. He seemed to run under the ball. If he had have taken off a yard earlier, jumped a step before he actually did, I thought he might have been able to mark it, but a great passage of play.
Yes, you and I both thought he had that. Just the extra step. Cruiser with the ruck contest and now tries to fight on. Gibbs can't keep it in. Get a ball in.
Nathan Van Berlo has been given the job on Judd, which wasn't one that I actually expected.
Coming off a 31 possession game himself last week, Nathan Van Berlo.
And Brent Riley on Murphy.
So a free kick in that ruck contest, and it's going Adelaide's way. No, he pointed the wrong way.
He did. Gee, that confuses everybody.
So everybody's taken off thinking it's an Adelaide free kick.
Yeah, and this is good because what he does, the umpire here, is he holds play up because he knows he's made that mistake and he's got to give players the chance to readjust. That's good umpiring.
That is fantastic umpiring. I've seen it twice in the last 2 weeks, Jace, where that wasn't the decision made by the umpire. He has to do it. Wrong-footed, probably 20 players.
Yep.
Umpires today, Michael Vozzo, Steve McBurney, Simon Meredith. And we don't expect them to go the whole afternoon without a mistake, but if they can minimise the damage like they did then, it's a good thing. Cruiser to the goal square. Fev's down there. Stevens, Rutten, both down there. No Bock today, of course. Van Berlo, who we spoke of. Rutten, little fumble. Edwards, they might rush it through. It is an option for them. John Cock now has that option himself. Tries to hack it out of the area. Play on was the call, as you heard. Joseph turned into that tackle. Symes.
Good defensive pressure.
Which is trademark Adelaide. Rutten.
This needs to be a very good kick.
It's 2-on-2. Backing back Stevens and Armfield almost the mark. Good piece of it. Stevens inboard, Cruiser. Scotland, he can go for goal from 50, elects not to, hands it off. Walker with the pop shot. Perfection.
Well, what was good was the initial pressure, which wasn't in Carlton's front half, has suddenly appeared today in numbers when two of the blokes who are good at it aren't there. That eventually, I think, turned the ball over because of the pressure on the way out. Superb effort.
Yeah, the other thing that's impressed me is the way that the Blues aren't afraid to run and carry, and we know how good they are at putting pressure on the Crows, but Carlton getting through heavy traffic very, very well, running and linking up with handball.
Injuries have killed his past 2 seasons. This is 5th game of the year after only 7 games last year. Andrew Walker.
Interesting, Dwayne, that Aaron Joseph has got the defensive forward role on Graham Johncock.
Marich and Cruiser. Cruiser down to Gibbs. Hamble smothered Goodwin. Gives it off. Vince. Riley. He's tackled as he got the kick away, but it found Edwards. Takes on Armfield. Put a handball away. McKay through traffic. Thought about going for goal. Goes to Knights. Just the required 15. Plays on. Runs into 20. And puts the Crows back in front.
Well, he's had a super year, Chris Knights. He's a goal-kicking machine. He can kick him on the run from 60. He finds space well. He leads well. He's that hard to match up on because he runs like a midfielder. He's your mid-size, a very dangerous left foot. And just look how he runs into space here. The Blues get caught out, and it's terrific cutting through traffic. David McKay, who set it all up, and or McKay, I should say, gave it to Vince.
Great, yeah, great vision. Just chasing by him.
When these two teams met in round 9 at AAMI Stadium, it was Adelaide by 44 points, and Chris Knights kicked 5 goals against the Blues in that game. He's got there first in this one.
And that's one of the important roles for the Blues defence. Dennis Armfield with the job on Knights.
Oh, it's making the sandwich there, Van Berlo.
I think he was lucky he ducked under it, otherwise he would have been poleaxed, right?
Two Carlton players almost bumped each other. There was a bit of Three Stooges action as Andrew McLeod starts on the bench. Thompson, McLeod, Burton and Seller on the bench for the Crows. Start this game. Marich sweeps it wide. Simpson, Gibbs, low trajectory kick to Favola. Fist from Rutten, knocks it down. And Satanta can't make something happen. We'll get a ball in.
Pretty important today, Dwayne. Satanta he's just got to become a hard-working target there to make a secondary option in the air.
Brett Ratton elected not to let him give Cloak the kick in the backside this week. Could have been the one to do it again. Brett Ratton decided to do it himself. And we'll get a ball up. And those 3 players who were dropped, Garlett, Betts and Cloak watching on from the grandstands today. The Blues taking the big step. And there's that bump to Riley. She rode there all the way to the ground.
Yeah, and I reckon he was lucky not to get pink. Rode the bump and then had an opportunity to get rid of the footy.
Marich down to Vince. 6th highest possession getter in the AFL this year, Bernie Vince. One of the unsung heroes in this Adelaide lineup. Armfield to Stevens. Back to Armfield and back to the boundary umpire. We get a ball in on the wing.
And Dwayne, Carlton are electing to play a couple of normal midfielders at the half-forward flanks at the moment. Cade Simpson and Mark Murphy are on the half-forward flanks, just trying to make the Adelaide Crows half-backers accountable.
Yet again, Vince gets a possession, rolls it to half-forward, being chased down by Armfield, who is one of the ends for Carlton, given those forced changes. So they've brought Dennis Armfield in and given him the task. And that should be a good battle as well, that one, Murphy and Goodwin. Cruiser out of the ruck contest. Marich the second effort. Johnson, Judd. Toward Yarran, another of the ins for the Blues this week. They need a big one from him. Brendan Favola's calling it back to the square. Now he's on the lead. And the kick smothered. Johncock. Symes. Well, Pleasure lending a hand to defence. Missed the target with the handball. Symes goes back to mop up his mess.
Again, good defensive pressure from the Blues. The forwards working very hard.
Paul Pleasure, Goodwin, Otten. Marich a little fumble this time. Russell over him. drags it in. Is that ball? He dragged it under him, dead. Well, it wasn't Marich's fault, but it was Marich's fault. Houlihan got it from Russell. Gives it up. Carazzo can smell a goal from 45. Misses. And that's a win for the Blues. It bounces out of play. We'll get a ball in. Coming off yet another 30-plus possession game last week. Andrew Carazzo, 35 possessions for him. And Brendan Favola being watched closely by Ben Rutten. Marich, we threw Hampson out of the way there in that ruck contest. Favola crashes the pack. Murphy, Gibbs, tackled by Alton, dispossessed. Thompson, McLeod, Doughty. Speaking of good games last week, Doughty with the game of his life with 37 last week. But the Blues playing well early. Russell to Stevens. Kick to the pocket and a good kick too. Cut off by Stevens. Play on. Opens up the angle and the first goal for Satanta's evening at the Dome.
The thing that they're doing, I haven't seen them take the risk in every situation where it's been a stoppage or a free kick away. They've just gone on not considering the risk at all, and it's actually working for them now. They've actually taken the initiative, getting more of the ball. Their movement both by hand and over the ground with feet, it's been absolutely terrific. And at the moment they're hanging in, Adelaide, just hanging in.
Well, if they can get a couple of goals out of him, that's a massive win for the Blues. So important to the structure. We mentioned the star-studded bench for the Crows. The big guns, McLeod, Thompson and Burden, are all on, and they need them on, firing very quickly. Blues are up and running.
Silla and Hampson in the ruck. Gibbs. Hill before he got it. Scotland. Fan wide. Walker to Houlihan. They've got a spark about them at the moment, the Blues. Hampson. Johnson, Houlihan, arms free in the tackle. Favola with the knock on, trying to create something. Doughty, they're under siege at the moment. Henschel, Van Berlo, Goodwin, try and create the free man. Silla with the handball up, no prior opportunity there.
Gee, they've been impressive, Dwayne. Normally the Crows gather in numbers deep in defence and run it out and set things up. They haven't been able to. The Blues have been all over them. They've put enormous defensive pressure on. They've read the play very, very well, and if they can do that, they'll go a long way towards stopping the Crows in their tracks with that sort of defensive pressure.
Scotland got it up. Johnson, handball. Brown pursues it. Well played by Stevens of the Adelaide variety. There's a couple out there today. Goodwin feeds it back. Otten, no prior opportunity there, but he did fall on it. Doughty, Thompson, Silla, Rutten. Heads wide, Dangerfield back into the Adelaide lineup this week, thumped away from him. So it might be a little rusty Patrick Dangerfield. And we'll get a ball in.
Hasn't it made a difference, Jace, with those midfielders who are playing at half forward, players who are putting pressure on like we've never seen before?
And look at the inside 50, 7-2 in favour of the Blues. That's where you want to play the game.
Make that 8-2. I think that did roll in. That'll count, even though it wasn't necessarily meant to roll in. Walker, Judd takes on Thompson, Bauer, Simpson, Scotland. And the pop pass, perfect. He's been good, Hampson.
And it's unsettled them. I mean, just going on. Scotland took the risk then that he was going to be tackled as he took the mark. Just pushed his hand out, got space and delivered beautifully. They're on song. They are right on song now. They need to get a result though, Jace. They've been in too many times for not enough score.
So essentially into the side in close place. Sean Hampson. Game number 26. That was never in doubt. Goal umpire did not move.
Well, Pargo, I reckon the thing that would be pleasing Brent Ratten the most right now is they've got 3 goals on the board, and Brendan Favola hasn't been involved in any of them. They got one out of a Halpin, who's important up forward. To have Hampson, your ruckman, push forward into space and get one, and also Walker off half forward, that's about as good as could possibly get for the Blues.
And if they can continue to spread the scoring, he'll kick some at some stage.
Yep.
So.
Things obviously had to change for Carlton. Adelaide's won the past 6 battles between these two clubs by an average of 30 points. And the hard-running, aggressive approach early paying dividends. Hampson and Seller went at it. And Nick Stevens wins the free. It's being held. Again, they fan wide, Armfield. Scotland. Thought about thumping it in long now. Corralled by Doughty. Sent to the boundary line. Johnson. Got it away just in time. Knights. Boundary line his friend if he wants a reprieve. And the umpire will give him one through a ball up. Judd having a rest.
Thank you. Ball, thanks. Give us through.
3 possessions for Chris Judd. And off McKay. Dangerfield attacked as well. Got a little trip there. And he got the free for it. Seller. He was tackled. McLeod. First possession for him. Goodwin to the open side. Otten. And now in space for Pleasure. Bouncing ball. Thought he had it. Lost it. Russell. From defence. Takes them on. Slips a tackle. Gibbs. And now Yaron can go here.
Great kick.
Thought about going. Murphy out wide. 50 from goal. Cruises back in the square. It's short to Joseph in the hole.
Well, this would be the third of 4 unlikely goal kickers, I suspect, early in the game. Walker, we know, is a talented player and very dangerous wherever he is, but to get O'Halpin, Hampson and then Joseph with goals on the board, extraordinary. Little ankle tap there from Dennis Armfield. Tried to cover it up pretty well on Dangerfield, didn't he?
Played every game, Aaron Joseph, in this debut season after starting the 2nd year on the rookie list. There's been a lot of things, a shadow, a pest. And he's now a goal kicker, and that was a good goal to get halfway through this opening term.
Well, at the moment we've talked about Brett Ratton's inability to cope with Neil Craig's setup, and I think he's taken the initiative and have put the likes of Yaron and Carazzo, young Joseph, etc., into the front half. It's making it happen at the moment. Their work rate on the way in and on the way out is extremely high.
Game number 22 in a 22-game season for Aaron Joseph, and it's a 16-point margin. Adelaide a little shell-shocked at the moment. Cruiser attacked by Seller, Van Berlo, McLeod. Vince gets it wide. John Cock being run down by Yaron. That'll keep him in the team.
And I'll tell you how shell-shocked they are, Dwayne. They've got Henschel playing loose in defence at the moment, the Crows.
Johnson. And Favola. That's the last thing Adelaide need. Brendan Favola getting a sniff now.
A beautiful kick, though, Dwayne, wasn't it? I mean, everybody tells me what a great kick he has, but he has been turning it over a lot up until this point. Just lobbed it over the in-between player. Yeah, enormous chase and tackle by young Yaron. He's certainly got the speed to bring him down if he makes up his mind.
This is very kickable by Brendan Favola's standards. A 22-point lead. Nice off the boot. Splendid, Fev. Magnificent.
Well, what a start for the Blues. They came out with the intent to be aggressive. They gave away a free kick before the first bounce. A turnover in the back pocket. They could have been 2 goals down before they started. They weren't. But all of a sudden, once they got their hands on the footy, they've run with intent. They've taken players on. They've drawn. They've linked up with hand pass. And if Chris Johnson can use these sort of foot skills to the advantage of the Blues, well, they're going to be very, very hard to stop today.
It's 5 goal kickers, and I think one of the pluses for the day would to see it's not 4 plus 1, that is Favola. It is actually 5, and including 1 to Favola.
22 points. Thompson threw that away. Doughty couldn't get a kick on it either. Carazzo, Stevens, Gibbs, Cruiser. Walker hit for Vola. He's on the move. Rutten. It was a poor kick. Henschel, John Cock.
Yeah, it was one of your fading 5 irons, wasn't it? Just faded to the wrong side.
Dowdy lets a slip. Almost a throw. McKay through traffic. Not a lot to go to. Bangs it along in hope. Burton tries the big leap. Can't get up there. Knight has already kicked one from virtually this spot. So he's had the sider. And he misses.
He's just about the most improved player in the competition. He's just been Knight's. He's a high forward, but getting a lot in the midfield. But he finishes every week.
Thornton toward Cruiser. Good contest that from Portpleasure to Goodwin. Knights again. Doesn't elect to go long. Short. Vince.
They got Thompson loose, but they've missed him.
And Burton.
Didn't need him when you got Brett Burton leading at the footy.
Well, he's another in for the Adelaide Crows this week, Brett Burton. Just his 5th game back this year after the knee reconstruction.
I'd be hanging on to him. I reckon he provides just the unusual element in their forward half.
They've missed him because once upon a time he was one of their usual elements. Because he can kick straight. And they breathe a sigh of relief, the Crows fans.
Well, it's an extremely important kick from Brett Burton. I mean, they just, while the Blues are hot early, they've just got to hang in there. They've just got to do something to keep the score reasonable and hope that they can turn the tide in the middle of the ground and get their hands on the footy a little bit more and just control the footy. They haven't been able to do that thus far. That's one of the first times they've had time and space to use the footy and hit some lead-up targets. It's interesting they continue to rotate loose players in defence. We mentioned Henschel's gone down there. Also, Portpleasure now goes down in defence for Adelaide, and the man that's got the job on him, Jordan Russell, has gone with him.
Marich and Cruiser. Cruiser with the palm. Van Berlo, McLeod, Dowdy off the back of the square. Burton with the fly here from 5 deep. Couldn't bring it down. Cruiser.
Well, they only have 2 forwards, Burton and Tippett, so if they don't mark it, they're in trouble, the Crows.
Johnson rolled to the side a little there. Stopped the push in the back free. Kirk Tippett tries to rake it out. Wiggins out the back. Thornton, Houlihan. No one to go to this side. They know it now.
Oh.
And they turn it over now. Andrew McLeod with a couple of steps to steady. Big turnover that.
Well, I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication there. I think Andrew Ward was expecting Bryce Gibbs to come towards him as he went with a long hand pass, and in the end, I think Gibbs turned and went the other way. You can see there's Gibbs with the hand up, but he runs. He doesn't actually attack the footy. He doesn't know what's around him, so a little bit of miscommunication between them. No miscommunication with Andrew McLeod. He saw the footy, attacked it, and kicked the goal.
I guess the sad thing about all that, 2 of the 3 Adelaide goals have come out of gifts, turnovers directly from Carlton players. They haven't even had to work hard for them, so that's not good in context of the game.
Although Adelaide would say that their zone does create those turnovers, and that's why they set it up that way. Stevens almost tackled as he didn't have it. He was tackled and didn't have it.
50 metres. Oh, boy. That's costly.
Well, Dangerfield thought it was an Adelaide free because of the throw from Stevens, and it was a free to Stevens because he didn't have it.
That's where the 50 is so costly, Dwayne, when they read it as you read it here, and it shouldn't have been so.
So they're reading that as Stevens dropping the ball when he was tackled.
In fact, it was Thompson that kicked the footy away after Dangerfield handballed it to it.
So the instant reply. Put it back to 15 points. Squeezes it in. Big start for this game.
Well, it's a terrific start by Carlton. I mean, you can understand why Neil Craig has all of a sudden decided to load up his back line with spares down there with Henschel and Portpleasure and these types. He's happy to go with a 2 or 3 man forward line because he just wants to stem the flow. They're bleeding. in terms of the Carlton forward line. They're just kicking goals at will, and they can't stop it at the moment, Adelaide, regardless of numbers behind the footy.
What's interesting in the context of the game, last time they played in Adelaide, it was exactly the reverse. It was Carlton who were loading up in the back half as hard as they could.
But, boys, you can just see the Adelaide Crows forward line there. They're just playing with a three-man forward line at the moment. But Jace Porplegia's gone back into the forward line. I like that move.
Yeah, I don't know that he's the man you want loose in defence. He's so dangerous up front. They need a goal produced when they do get that ball going forward. But unfortunately, at the moment, it's 12-7. The inside 50s in favour of the Blues. Just the opportunities not presenting themselves.
Scotland slung. Riley takes them on. Carazzo kicks smothered. Ricochets. Knights clever. Symes. Goodwin. Kickable by his standards. Lines up from 50 and nails it.
Well, he took the responsibility, Parker. He had Tyson Edwards on his left if he wanted to chip the ball short. But you don't mind the senior players that back themselves running through the corridor. He ran to 50. It was a terrific hand pass from Knights that got the ball to Symes back in the corridor. You could just see Edwards out on the left on his own. He was happy to see the ball go through. And again, they're making the most of limited opportunities, Adelaide.
No, they are. And look, I would have gone, had you been charged, you would have gone for that one. What we're getting is a terrific brand of football. I mean, the contest is high, but the skill level's matching it.
10 goals in 24 minutes to start this game. Ducked into that a little, got the handball out. Gibbs, but it's all the way back to half-back. Johnson dispossessed. Marriage tackled. Porplegia through traffic. Oh, they've hit gear now.
Well, Parker, we shouldn't underestimate how important this has been the last 5 minutes, because they've stacked numbers behind the footy and they've loaded up with a three-man forward line, but as soon as they win the ball in the middle, they run en masse. The numbers that actually, you can see them all flowing forward with the flow of the football, and they've created a few goals from virtually half opportunities.
And of course, the ball going in is going into space for other players to use, which is hard to structure.
Crows have kicked 4 of the last 5 goals. First for Jason Porplegia, 49th for the year, having an outstanding season, having an All-Australian season, surely. Ball up. Even Marich winning them down. Judd, handball to Gibbs. He was a gone man. Van Berlo, what was it, to half forward. Knights, no arm slap free. Bauer, look away handball, didn't really work, although it bounces for Houlihan. Joseph, that wasn't a handball, but he got away with it. Bauer, he won't get away with that.
Dead. Took him on. He was in traffic. He didn't have much option. He had to take them on, Bauer, but he was always going to get caught. They've upped the ante, Adelaide.
David McKay, Victorian boy from Oakley, Trinity Grammar.
Move it on.
Back home.
Yours.
Bangs a long kick. Tippett had the reach, couldn't bring the mark down. Houlihan, arms free. Judd, good man to give it to, but caught by Porplegia. Wiggins, Staunton. He's got Hampson lurking. Handball over the top from Johnson is to Russell instead. And now wide Joseph. They've worked this into space. Scotland's inboard. Yaron's ahead of him. He bounces. He might go all the way to Fair. Fair's on the move. He might go all the way to goal. Loops it over the top instead. Yaron, Scotland, John Cock. Handball up. Ridden, Joseph. Favola from the pocket.
He had a bit more time, Fev. He didn't know how clear he was. He could have turned around and run closer to goal.
Could have almost walked out further and hooked it back with his left in the finish.
This is a cracking contest. Being played at amazing speed. Vince. Back pocket. Judd backtracks. Symes has got 3 to beat here. And that's a win for Symes. Ball out of play. Judd coming off for another rest.
You talk about how good the standard is, Dwayne. I agree with you, but the worry for me from a Blues perspective is I reckon they've played just about as well as they could and got what they wanted in this first quarter, whereas Adelaide, after a sluggish start, have just been able to produce 5 goals to stay right in the contest.
Gibbs to Arfield, Carazzo. One-on-one's ahead of him. Johnson. O'Halpin made him work for it. Murphy. Inboard. Stevens might go for goal now. High and long. And the Blues back out by 10.
That is a wonderful effort, really, I think. I thought Stevens was looking to give it off again, and he had to do it partly round the corner over a reasonable distance, and he got the outward swing on the ball. It was just going to the right post, and it swung back beautifully. And risk-taking again with the hands, you tend to do it through the middle, not so much into 50, and that was a wonderful setup and finishing goal.
It's been a very tough year for that man, Nick Stevens. Been out of the side, spent time in the VFL, criticised for his weight, for his dedication, for the amount of hard work that he was putting in. But boy, is he important. 8 possessions and 2 goals to kick things off.
Dangerfield to Doughty. Dwight, but really had to motor to get that. Inboard. Seller. Vince. Throws it up long. Tippett. Good spoil. Carlton made it tough for Stevens. Stevens made it tough for Bauer. And he made it impossible for Hampson, who does well brilliantly. Carrazzo. Bauer. They're the same boys who made the mess mop it up. Stevens. Short. Murphy. Stevens. 4th possession in this string of play. Heads wide. And Yaron can't get there. And we'll get a ball in for a kick.
I can't believe that.
We very rarely see, well, handballs forward called deliberate.
Particularly when it took a big bounce to the left. It bounced sideways.
Stevens to Johncock. Played 30 minutes in this quarter. It'll be a long one because we've had 12 goals. Walker, Bauer, Thornton. Wiggins. 3 men to the open side. Johnson. Armfield. Gibbs. Yaron can go here. In a couple of metres. Heads to Brown. Marks just inside 50, Stephen Brown. They lead by 10. You can see 31 minutes gone on the clock, so knows there's not long left. Has the shot for Vola. Goal square, thumb through the behind.
Well, let's have a look at that deliberate hand pass from Nick Stevens. He goes long under pressure. The ball bounces sideways to go over the boundary line. That's an extraordinary decision. There were a couple of Carlton players 5 or 10 metres away coming towards the football.
When he pushed there, Scotland's ball. Chance for a late score here for Carlton. Favola's calling for it long. Does it come his way? And he's not happy, Brendan Favola. Very demonstrative.
That's okay for him to be unhappy, but they found another target inside 50. And Fev, it's good that he works hard, presents and thinks he should get used, but you've got to make decisions as you play this game, and hitting targets and setting up shots for goal isn't a bad decision.
Across the face again, Hampson again, Doughty. Now, is that deliberate? It took the same bounce. Doughty looked straight at the umpire like a guilty child.
Well, the crowd wanted, but I mean, there was a teammate only metres from the footy.
Yes, Mum, I stole those lollies. And a free kick goes Adelaide's way against Walker. To Doughty again.
Just calm down.
Just calm down. Here's some advice from the man in yellow. Edwards. McLeod. Johncock. Now Tippett, a long way down. And the one hand. Goodwin. Sends a long bomb. Henschel. And a one-on-one. Thumb clear by Bauer. Judd down there. Bauer's got it. Thompson's got him. He's on his back. Ball up.
Well, might have been trouble in Grain. He did get a hand pass out, then snuck it back underneath him. He might have just been a bit lucky then.
Carlton by 11 points, approaching quarter time in this crucial battle for a home final. Stevens, half wrapped up, comes clear. Vince kicks around the body, and that's goal with 50 seconds left.
Might be a bit harsh on Stevens then. When he got hit, he went for the free kick and lay down when he needed to throw himself back over the ball. They played one man short in that little tussle.
It's an extraordinary first quarter. 13 goals on the board. The Blues have been unbelievable, and yet Adelaide have been able to answer and stay with them. This is just an exceptional quarter of football. No wonder the quarter's going to go for 47 minutes. Problems here for the Blues. Nick Stevens, he looks a little worse for wear, doesn't he, coming off in the hands of trainers?
I might have been a bit harsh on him then. He was dead on the ground. That's why he couldn't participate.
We're on track for a 52-goal game. This rate. Free kick to Cruiser. 47 seconds left on the clock. Here is a clash.
Now, I wonder, he's had neck problems, and his head ran into teammate Chris Judd. I hope that he hasn't experienced more of those sorts of problems.
Unfortunately, Jason, I think you might be spot on.
Michael, don't push him in, mate. Don't push him in.
And that's an area that you don't like to see anyone have trouble with, Parker.
And he looks in terrible pain, I must admit. I apologise to him profusely.
Career was in danger, and he made the comeback, and Jason Dunstall might be on the money. We're hoping he's not. Seller, dispossessed. Judd, arms free. Handball to Houlihan. Dump by McLeod. Had prior opportunity to get rid of it. Gone.
Had the hands free.
Late chance for Adelaide to take the lead at quarter time here. Otten sends it wide. Tippett's on the move. Good thump away by Wiggins. Ball in with 9 seconds left. Wiggins decided to be a third man up. Saved the day. Time enough for a clearance and score. Marriage down. Paul Pleasure had it. Left it behind. Second starting to be chewed up. Judd shoots it out. And the Blues go in with the lead. It's not as big as they would have liked. After they pile on 4 goals in a row at one stage of the opening term. But an amazing 13-goal first quarter in this clash for a home final. It's the Blues 7-2-44. Adelaide 6-3-39. Second term about to get underway here. Indoor footy at the Dome. Roof shut.
Push him straight out of the contest.
And an early free to Hampson for the Blues.
Wasn't trying to contest the footy. Play on.
Gibbs. O'Halpin. Didn't quite get a hand on it. Rutten, he played in front, left it behind. O'Halpin shoots it out. Joseph wider. Snap is good from Simpson. Perfect start.
Great decision in the first. I think the umpire would be sort of in a mood to pick that one at centre bounce. I mean, Marriage really did jump high and hard. There's no doubt he took his opponent out in the contest. Seen rarely by the umpires in that situation, usually play on. Got it forward, some terrific quick hands, and a cute little kick out of the pack by Simpson saw it through.
I reckon left footers love it when they get away with a right foot goal too, because we don't see them too often.
He'll talk about that for weeks.
Been in good goal kicking form as well. Cade Simpson, 3 goals last week against the Demons. And some work on Nick Stevens' neck.
And it's a 4-man forward line for the Crows. They've loaded up down back, and Brent Ratten's decided to match up with numbers, Parker.
Yeah.
Thompson, good one. Handball smothered by Simpson, and he's ridden into the deck, but from the side, so it was legal.
And when you got them hammering in, and the presence of mind is we're going to work them over, you don't mind that. Lack of space, but terrific contest.
Doughty's free. Walker into his back. Might have been a little bit accidental, and Johncock puts his man down. Joseph.
This is where the Blues have got to be good, because the Crows run and spread as good as any team in the competition.
Well, that's Joseph's man. He hit the deck, and Johncock ran on. Hands to McLeod. Hands to Symes. Runs to 49. Centering kick. Henschel. Paul Pleasure dropped into the hole. And Henschel made out. He was attempting the mark, but really was just protecting his gun, who will go back and line up for goal number 50 for the year.
Well, this is, you can see John Cock there. He takes his opponent out and keeps running, and he gets the first one. But also at that stoppage, you had McLeod, you had Symes. They all bolted forward and got on the end of it.
Brett Burton won Adelaide's goal kicking last year with just 34 goals. Everybody thought, where were Adelaide's goals going to come from this year? Well, Port Pleasure has provided 50 of them. And not just Port Pleasure, of course. They've had Chris Knights with 35, Kurt Tippett 43. They've really been able to find some goal kickers in the absence of some of their other guns like Henschel and Burton, who missed the first half of the year.
You'd be pretty unhappy though, Dwayne. The ball travelled 50 metres in the air for a long time and not one of the 5 backs to get a hand on it.
Rowan Smith.
Well, Dwayne, towards the end of that first quarter, Nathan Van Berlo, who was doing a pretty good job on Chris Judd, actually went underneath into the rooms. You can see he's just getting some work done on his back there. Now, I tried to find out what was wrong with him because he's been actually off for quite a while, and they gave me donuts, which actually means 0, Dwayne. So I'll try and find out a little bit more, but it's certainly his back.
Edwards speaking it back to Dangerfield, back in this week, and the hands are still as good as ever. And this is a massive kick. It can give the Adelaide Crows back the lead, which they had in the opening minutes of this contest.
That'll be a psychological blow to the Blues, given how well they've played, to have 8 goals on the board this early and then all of a sudden to find yourself behind. He's a very likely type, Patrick Dangerfield. He's got such a career ahead of him. Got all the skills, can play midfield, forward.
Here's his game, number 21.
He kicks it okay, Dwayne.
They're back in front.
No, he's a great, isn't he? A great story. A kid that travelled his last year with school, came in and initially showed he could play. That pair of hands taking that ball that was drifting in the air over a long period of time, he clunked it and went back, finished it off as only a mature player could do.
Big job for Wiggins. Early stages, second term. From the restart. Marriage did well there. Outreach Cruiser, who gets himself in possession, but to Port Pleasure. To Goodwin. Big long thump to half forward. Over the head of Tippett. Knights is there. Armfield knocks it on. Marriage followed up his work. Lays the tackle on Walker. Brings him down. Too high.
Oh, got a bit lucky there. Dennis Armfield needs to be aware of where he's punching the ball. He's whacked it straight into the corridor.
He gets that a little wider, Armfield. Thornton. Walker. One-on-ones everywhere he looks. Heads wide. Simpson. Loops it over the top and it was smothered. Riley. They've got 3 men here. Vince. Thumps it high. Tippett's in the pocket. Walker with him. Can't even get a run at it. Tippett takes the mark. Dangerfield lurking. Poor kick. Almost made it okay. Judd thumps it clear. Thompson. Edwards. Not 15 as you heard. Carlton with the numbers here now. Wiggins through traffic. To Judd. Good man to give it to. Favola held. He's on the lead. He's got it. He was pushed. He was held and pushed. Got nothing. And the umpire will ball this up.
And he shouldn't be looking around, Fed, but he had good reason then to look around. He got held up on the way in, hit on, pushed on the way to the ball. Ludicrous misses by the umpire.
Little hand on the back there as you saw. Walker feeds it back. Scotland. O'Halpin, arm slap, no free. Yaron twists his way out of traffic. Joseph, high and very wide. Just scrapes in for a score.
What's hurting Carlton is that they're able to start with a 7-4. That is 4 forwards in the Adelaide front half. 7 forwards, no space at the moment. I think that's playing into Adelaide's hands.
Brendan Favola, not far away from winning himself a second Coleman medal. Just needs a few goals today to secure that. Little push there, and free kick to Stevens.
Well, unrealistic attempt by Walker, I think. Dwayne just pushed him out. Stupid free kick.
Scores a level. Vince. Straight down the middle to Goodwin, who can get and go. Any number of options. Otten, the main one, got hands to it. Well played, Joseph. Knocked down to Armfield, and now the Blues on the counter-attack. Favola's calling for it long. 55 from goal. Sits up on Houlihan, thumped clear, and Favola screaming again.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Fev. He's getting himself in a bad mood, but Dennis Armfield had a couple of options along the way.
To give it to him.
He was more, well, he could have given it to Favola, could have given it to another couple of players. He was more intent on bouncing the footy and covering the ground when it would have been better served just hitting a target.
Absolutely.
Symes to Edwards. They peel to the open side. Stevens. Speaking of improved players, last couple of years he's just grown out of sight to poor pleasure.
Oh, took his eyes off it.
Characteristic fumble there. And the free, play on advantage.
Good news for the Blues. This man's back on, Dwayne.
So Stevens off the bench, neck okay, and he hits Fev. Rutten an arm slap, no free again. Yaron shoots it up. Simpson misses the target. Johncock, Edwards. Players not even getting a chance to take a breath. Johncock short, poor pleasure. Scotland in the hands of trainers. He heads wide, poor pleasure. And a little hold up for Seller. Never kicked a goal of AFL footy.
Scotland was in a bit of trouble in the hands of the trainers. But
doesn't want to have a shot, goes to the pocket, and Dangerfield can line up.
And that one short there, Jason, caused terrible trouble. Paul Pleasure was recovering from the same incident, stood up and looked round and found himself in free space.
There's Heath Scotland still,
still struggling
with the treatment.
Dangerfield in the gutter to give the Crows back the lead. A few Carlton fans giving him some advice.
Probably constructive.
Sure it is. And I think he adhered to it. Out of play on the full. He's just checking now to see if there really is Chewy on that boot.
Now this is the test for Carlton. This is where they've struggled in most games against Adelaide to get it out from this situation.
Johnson long, Thornton got hands to it, couldn't complete the mark, ball in.
Probably a good result in the circumstances.
It's interesting with the question mark over Nathan Van Berlo. Tyson Edwards is the man that's gone to Chris Judd to do the job on it.
Silla, third man up, straight down to Houlihan, kick to the wing, Johncock and Yaron. Johncock, brilliant. Shoots it wide, put Edwards under pressure. Yaron pursues him, takes him out.
It's interesting that Dowdy is one that's done well. I mean, Robert Shirley is the one that didn't make it into the team today because of injuries. Had a terrific run against Chris Judd. So they're probably throwing a few through the roll during the day.
Chris Judd, as it stands now, just the 8 possessions. So Scott Thompson's to be 50. Stevens did well there. Could have been 50. Scott Thompson heads wide. Edwards, Houlihan. Edwards used the body and keeps it alive. Inside the line, twists out of a tackle, shoots it back to Symes. Got a couple of targets. Carazzo pursues him, pokes it, Tippett. He just kept it alive until he could find someone, and Tippett can give Adelaide back the lead.
He hasn't had a lot of the ball, Kurt Tippett. Just the 3 possessions. Coming in for number 4. Hasn't put anything on the scoreboard as yet, but they'd love him to get his confidence up with a straight kick here. Good persistence by Symes, just working his way into play, just finding a way to kick the ball forward and not have it turned over or tackled or taken out of bounds.
You're right about his confidence. It's not super high. Just kicked 1 goal from 5 kicks against the West Coast Eagles last week. And that might bring his confidence back. His first, and Adelaide lead by it.
When it came out the initial, he continues to astound me, Tyson Edwards. He just keeps at it. It's a great position, but to work the ball off the boundary line, could have given up and let it go out of bounds, but kept it in play, and the end results that goal. Wonderful player over such a long period of time.
From the ball up. Cruiser stays down and collects it. Tried to get a kick away. Is that good enough? Gibbs, long. Favola pushed out of it. Couldn't even get a run at it. Yaron tries to go off the deck. A rush behind.
He's getting involved, Fev, isn't he? He needs to get involved at least.
Taken through as you saw.
Great chase again.
McLeod brought down by Yaron. Lucky enough to get a handball on it. Rotten, Otten, Vince. Jim McKay under some pressure here. Goodwin and McKay, Simpson with them. Goodwin, boundary line's a win. Houlihan sees it out. 57 to 52. The crowd know what's on the end of this. They lose today, either of these two teams, and they'll be headed to the Gabba for an elimination final if the Lions win tonight. From the ball in, Cruiser thumps it down. McKay, Vince, and Burlow gives it back again, and now a long kick towards Henschel and Knights. Henschel crashes the pack. Knights picks up the leather, looks up, he's got Seller, he's got the big sticks instead, and sails it over the goal umpire's hat.
He's just a super dangerous player, Chris Knights. Unbelievably dangerous, and Jordan Russell has got the job on him. On that occasion, though, it was Armfield, I should say, has got the job on him. Armfield just lost contact when the ball came down. He had the arm out, finding out where he was, but then he got caught watching the footy. Chris Knights first to pick up the loose one.
Adelaide's biggest lead they've had, 11 points. Chris Knights, one of 7 Adelaide players from Victoria. A third of the Adelaide Crows lineup today from Victoria. They won't mind being here. Back home, quite a few of them. Chris Knights is one of them, Vermont boy, and we'll get another ball up.
As you would expect, the pressure from Carlton is just starting to drop off a bit. They're getting easier access, particular usage.
Umpire's gone down. Carazzo gives it off. Scotland. Over the head of O'Halpin. Stevens. O'Halpin stole it from him. Gives off to Yaron. Gets the shot away, and it's across the face.
He was looking for a push in the back. The umpire said he grabbed you. Andrew McLeod with the despairing dive to put pressure on Chris Yaron. Great work from Zatanna O'Halpin. He created the opportunity with the contest and then dishing off the hand pass.
Adelaide by 10.
Umpire just popping an ankle tap from the ruckman, I'd suggest.
You wouldn't think there'd be a fine in that, but it's often hard to know. Hanson, who was involved in it, takes the mark. Carazzo. Johnson, Carazzo, Walker.
No one coming to him, though.
And almost Dangerfield. Took him on a 1. Little bounce. Short pass. Gibbs. Favola to the pocket. Got it. Had enough of it. Rutten pulled his arm down regardless. And Brendan Favola, who, as I said, should win his second Coleman this year. Only needs a few today to make sure of it. He's got 82 for the season right now. And Jonathan Brown, who plays tonight, has 75.
I'd love to get Fev more actively involved in the game, the Blues. Two kicks for a goal and a post, so he's not far off it.
He's got his second, and it's back to 4 points.
The good news for the Blues, because the ball's coming off the boot of Brendan Favola very, very nicely. I thought Bryce Gibbs had made an error. He had Scotland running inside, and I thought the hand pass was on. He ignored it, but he knew what he was doing. Obviously knew a lot more than I did. He knew that as soon as he turned, that Brendan Favola would be leading to his right foot. He would read the play better than anyone else. It was a good attempt at spoil, and nearly got away with it, Ben Rutten.
kicks, 2 goals. 18 minutes gone, second term. It'll be another long quarter, high-scoring quarter. Hampson down to Burton, though. Quick off the square. McKay. Thompson. Back inboard, has to come back to the corridor. McLeod. Lead comes from Tippett in his direction. Gem of a kick.
Yeah. Well, it's a great kick, and it's also, I mean, when Tippett took the mark, he marked the ball in a space that was too high for Thornton to get anywhere near the spoil. He was just physically incapable of getting up to that height. Brett Thornton is giving away a significant physical advantage. Have a look where Tippett takes the mark. He's leapt up and gone with the one arm to get to the highest point, Thornton, and he just can't get there. He's a monster, Tippett.
20 seconds.
Umpire hurrying him up. Already kicked one earlier in this term. Who knows where they are at this end. From the 50. Misses. Johnson. Couldn't get a game for the Demons. They dropped him off the list. And now he might play finals. The Demons confirmed the wooden spoon last week. Pleasure gives it off. This is perfection again from the Adelaide Crows. And Vince kicks his third.
Well, this, in fact, was the pre-game difficulty they were going to have. I think Wayne having to go off long like that against this zone, who have an enormous amount of height right throughout their front half and in the forward part of their zone, just means it's likely to come back, even with the defensive hit which Carlton put on. In fact, went to the advantage of Adelaide.
Scrubby old kick in the end from Bernie Vince, but it got the job done. I'm glad he kicked the goal because he had Henschel and Knights both in the goal square screaming for it. They were queuing up to kick that goal, the Crows.
Ticking into time on now, second term. And the pull up. They're looking dangerous. Poor Pleasure long. Burton. Good fist away by Johnson. Down to Marriage. Breaks the tackle. Took a long time to get rid of it. Edwards. Crowd wanted ball. They don't get it. Johnson back inside defensive 50. Wrapped up by Edwards. Ball up.
He's labouring Nick Stevens. That attempted tackle on Marriage. He just got shrugged off and took a while to get up. He's not in peak physical shape right now, unfortunately, after that knock to the head and neck.
And the ball up. Burton couldn't trap it. Neither can Murphy. Dowdy, Murphy, both in there, fighting hard. Another ball up. Just confirming the two winners so far today. Geelong over Fremantle and Essendon defeating Hawthorn in a tight battle by 17 points to grab 8th spot on the ladder heading into the finals, the Bombers. After the Cats won today by 40 points over the Dockers. A little high on Armfield. Crowd wanted a free. Don't get it.
Parker, I was just going to quickly ask you about Cade Simpson. Now, today he's basically playing as a half-forward flank. He's had 7 possessions. He's kicked the goal, but he's been one of the Carlton's most prolific ball winners. Yeah. Do you think they should put him in the midfield?
I just think exactly the same thing. He'll have to go there and do that role.
Touch, by the way. Henschel's kick. Earlier behind. Crowd happy to hear the touch call there.
It's amazing in the first quarter, Parker, we thought Adelaide were just hanging on. Now the Blues are just hanging on. They've upped the ante, the Crows. Their run has been extraordinary. They're starting to win their share of possession in the middle of the ground. And it's the Blues that are just clinging on. They can't afford this margin to blow out before half-time.
Walker to the 1-2 with Russell. Turnover. Vince can stroll in. Now he's got 3.
Don't want to overload it, Jace, but it's the same. This time they elected to go short, got the first one in and away, but the second kick long was intercepted just outside their 50.
Now, Parko, as we see it, have a look at Brett Burton here. You just can't see him in shot. He was running in the goal square all on his own. The same as last time there were a couple in the square, but Bernie Vince, when he sees them, he just goes bang.
Could have. Yeah, he could have had a few bob each way, couldn't he? Just put it over the top and he could have let it run through or picked it up and played it. He didn't go for one option only, I'm going to kick it.
It's a reasonable first half of footy when you've got 16 possessions and 3 goals next to your name.
Massive turnaround in this contest. The Blues led by 4 goals in the opening term, and now it's Adelaide by 3. Judd besieged. Russell trying to make amends. Stevens sidesteps Vince, who's the hot man. On the lead, Hampson, long way down to reach, couldn't grab it. Brown dumped. Murphy back towards Hampson, missed him. Symes, good contest. Dives in where Angels fear to tread. Otten, handball smothered, but Edwards lending a hand. Boundary line their friend if they want it. And you bet they want it.
Well, it was a good-looking kick from Nick Stevens. Sean Hampson tried to mark it in the hands. It was the tough one, but it was one of those that he really needed to take the sliding chest mark as he went to ground. Tried to keep his feet and take the mark.
Hampson with a little flick down towards Scotland. McKay to Symes. Got a one-on-one out wide. Thompson and Yarran. Experience over youth. Thompson keeps his feet and wins it. Yarran pursues and wins the free. It's his 3rd big tackle today.
Absolutely.
A man playing for his footy life, Chris Yarran. Wants to stay in this lineup for the finals.
A couple of them are long chases. This is just persistence. Not the way he corralled him was fantastic. He didn't overcommit.
Called to play on. Pops it up for Favola.
It's a big ask.
And Marriage. Strength over the top.
It's
15.
Might have just copped a knock to a finger as well, favoring that contest. He was holding it a little bit gingerly, but he's suggesting he played on. You can't anticipate the call. You've got to wait till it comes.
Otten. Yeah, even if the player steps around 3 metres, the umpire doesn't call play on, you can't go. Symes. Be another long term. Rutten heads wide to John Cott. We've played 25 minutes. We've still got at least 6 to go. Short pass again. High kick towards Tippett. Burton. Tippett. Second grab.
You have no idea how good that mark is, because he not only had to deal with his opponent, he had Satandro Halpin, who'd worked back to give the defence a chop out, coming over the top with the big spoil, but he was big enough to reach forward and touch it at the highest point, control the footy and take it at the second effort. You can see the kick comes in from Riley, and then O'Halpin with the big spoil over the top. Too good.
That's a superb effort, Chase. It really is. I mean, to get the hand up, one hand only and control it.
If he kicks this, they're away.
For a 24-point lead. He's missed a couple in the last 7 minutes. The Tippett. Lead stands at 19. It's still the biggest margin the Adelaide Crows have had. 26 minutes gone. Big long thump towards Cruiser. Front spot, couldn't take the mark. McLeod through traffic. Tippett. Dangerfield, dangerous. Squeezes it in.
Well, I'm not sure, Jason. I should have been notching it down. I reckon that's their 5th goal directly from rebounding kicks or kick-offs or trying to defend their 50, the opposition's 50 by Carlton. It just hasn't worked for him. Cruiser looks pretty tight to me. He's trying very hard, but he hasn't got the bounce in his step that he had earlier in the year.
The alarm bells are ringing in the Blues coach's box. It's starting to get to a very, very dangerous margin. And every time they kick long to a contest from a kick out, they get themselves in trouble with the quick rebound. The Blues, they've got to find that short option, even if only to buy themselves a bit of time.
Judd tried the around the back, didn't work. Cruiser, handball to Scotland, back to Cruiser, shoots it wide. Carazzo, Stevens. I need someone to stand up. Favola in the pocket might be the man. Can't get there, takes out Stevens. John Cott, Vince, Stevens is still down. Bounce pass to Symes, little slip, and he throws it up in the air so Goodwin can run onto it. Otten, turn to beat here, Dangerfield. Bouncing ball, and he might beat them both. Dives back in with Scotland. The cavalry comes and helps. McLeod bounces the half-forward flag, sends it long, tip it again. Ball thumped away, almost a second grab, through Henschel's legs. Ball pleasure.
They're under assault, the Blues. Heath Scotland was looking for a teammate up on the half-forward flank. He handballed it straight to Andrew McLeod. Look at that. And off he goes.
We're going to have to kick 25 goals at least to win this, Carlton. 26 points the margin.
Again, they kick long to the ruckman.
They get away with it. Houlihan, Judd, Scotland. O'Halpin. He ran into trouble.
They've got to score here, surely.
Simpson lines them up from 55. Favola got it.
I still reckon that was the wrong option. He had two short players on. He had in the pocket Brown. He had Walker back in the corridor. And he's put Fev on a pretty tough angle. I reckon they should have been able to run that in for a regulation goal. But Fev has been kicking the ball very well. This is a crucial kick for the Blues. They're clinging by the barest of margins, hanging by a thread. It's a must-kick goal for Fev.
It's got to. This to pull the margin back to 20 points. Drifts a little. Goal umpire does some dancing, but it's there.
Well, I must admit, I thought, like you, the decision should have been to go on shorter, but they had two options coming out of full back too, Jace, which they refused and went long, and they were 2-1 on that contest. It was lucky that it fell out of the back and gave Scotland the opportunity to run on. Give the big bloke his Euro help, and he, under pressure when he ran on and got caught, he was able to get a very good hand pass away to set up this kick to Favola.
Gee, he's striking it well, Fev. They'd love to get the ball to him a bit more often.
He's never kicked a big number against Adelaide whilst Neil Craig has been the coach of the Adelaide Crows.
Well, the way he's hitting it tonight, Dwayne, he needs about 8 kicks and he'll have a big number.
He did kick 7 against the Adelaide Crows back in 2004, a couple of weeks before Gary Ayres got the sack and Neil Craig took over. Downey. Bounce unkind for Knights. Kind for Armfield. Tackled back to Scotland. 20 points the margin. 30 minutes gone, second term. Simpson set up the last one. And he set up another. Gibbs backtracks. Chance for 2 in a row. Favola's on the lead. Manhandled by Rutten. Henschel lends a hand. Boundary line is friend. Yaron's there. And we'll get a ball in with 2 minutes on the clock. And Favola
not happy.
Still screaming.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, for a big bloke, Brent ran for a bloke with such a stocky, solid build, he gets across the ground very well. To be able to match Fev on the lead, no mean feat.
Big 2 minutes coming up here. Hampson down towards Murphy. He had it, lost it, then he was grabbed when he didn't have it.
Probably grabbed a bit high too, I think. The crowd wanting a free kick.
Umpire Steve McBurney says no. Ball up.
20 points the margin at the moment. If it's any bigger at half-time, you'd think it's going to be too much. So they can't afford the Crows to kick another goal, the Blues.
Hampson slaps it wide to Murphy. Armfield runs into Burton. Wiggins. Bauer. He was aiming for Yaron, missed him. Gibbs through traffic. Takes on Paul Pleasure. Got a handball up. O'Halpin missed his foot. Symes. Henschel. Stevens. Johncock. Brilliant movement again by the Adelaide Crows.
All the numbers running.
McLeod. Knights. The 2 to beat. Can't beat them both. Brown. Thornton. Wiggins goes back.
It's an interesting decision when you haven't even looked forward first.
Scotland. And now Tarazzo on the open side. Burton couldn't affect the spoil. Bauer. Inside a minute. Needs to hit a target. Goes wide. Simpson. Oh, he played on into trouble. Goodman brought him down. Houlihan pursues it. Thompson. Got it from Seller. Judd. Slips one tackle. Not the second. Gibbs. Gives it back again. Tarazzo, a wobbler. Front spot. Henschel was in the hole. Fev wanted to cave him in. Stevens. 30 seconds and counting. Henschel inboard. Symes. They've got Vince on the open side. Johncock, a wobbler. Otten made it look good. Vince still lurking. Bouncing ball for him, who was touched. Still a chance for an Adelaide score. Back to Otten. Dumps it long. Tibbet. He was caved in. No free for him. Knights collects it. Gets the handball up. Out to Gibbs. Now to Hanson. And they'll mop up the remaining seconds. The Blues, you would think. They need a big mark on 50 and he's got no one to kick it to. Forced to go short. And it's half-time here at Etihad Stadium. The battle for a home final is still on. It's a 20-point margin in favour of the Adelaide Crows, but the Blues not done with yet. 13-7-85 and 10-5-65. Tibbet, one of the keys. Carlton with a job on him. When these two teams met earlier this year, the Blues were down by 49 points at half-time at that game at AAMI Stadium, and they won the second half. They're down by 20 points at half-time here. They'd be confident they can play their way back into it. From the ball up, Cruiser down. Downey had it but lost it. We'll get a secondary ball up. Still inside the centre square.
And again, Adelaide, if you have a look at their forward line, just the three forwards there. The rest of them have pushed up. They've got seven-man defence, just a three-man forward line, and the others come up to the stoppage, keeps it nice and open and allows them to run and carry if need be.
Cruiser and Marriage both go out at Scotland. Back to Stevens' court. Marriage wins his own clearance. Big torpedo inside 50. Tippett half held, no free. For pleasure. Judd, for pleasure. 50 from goal. Can't bend it back enough. And it scrapes through for behind.
I think the point you made though, Chase, is that whilst they're at three, the midfielders in Adelaide, once the ball gets kicked higher, they are charging in to support that kick into the forward line.
Russell entrusted with the kick in. Told to move it on. Cruiser the target. Marriage with him. Disciplined thump to Knights. Sends it long. Henschel goal square. It goes all the way. They lead by 27.
Well, Pargo, at some stage you have to say a certain tactic's not working for us, we need to change it. One of the tactics the Blues have employed today is on too many occasions they've kicked long from a kick out after behind's been scored, they kick it to the ruckman, but the Crows have been able to knock the ball back in, spoil it, recover the loose ball and kick goals a number of times. The Blues have got to change tack surely.
And they must be seeing what we're seeing. I mean, that is a coaching direction that must come into play.
Three goals for Chris Knights. As we said earlier, kicked 5 against Carlton when these two teams met earlier this year.
Well, they've got to get the next one, the Blues, or I'll tell you what, it's not hard seeing this turn into a blowout if they can't start putting some scoreboard pressure on the Blues.
Judd had it, lost it. Tippett let the umpire know he was hitting the head there.
He did a delayed reaction. He went down there holding the head.
And the umpire fell for it. Vince wide. Burton for pleasure. Takes on Russell. Pokes it to the square. Henschel. Wiggins. Henschel should pounce here. He's got a couple of beat. Out of play, a win for Henschel. Ball in.
He hasn't done a great deal today, but his last 2 weeks in his comeback have shown that he has the agility and he obviously has tremendous skill. Very important person for Adelaide in the next couple of weeks.
It's just his 5th game this year after the knee reconstruction, or 2 of them, and he gets a possession on cue here. Eats a little bit of turf for his trouble. Knights, Thompson can't screw it around enough. Bouncing ball pursued by Thornton. Ball in.
They are a very disciplined team, Brian, aren't they? Their setup, their zone now is already setting up the inevitable. It's in place already. It's fantastic.
Cruiser and Tippett. Tippett wins it. Court. Swung 360. Got to be gone. Not gone. No prior opportunity, according to the umpire. Yeah.
Probably right, but he did just release the ball and dropped it.
Free kick to the Blues. They're happy with that.
If the ball's held to, I don't mind the no prior opportunity, but not when you just let it loose out of the contest like that.
Simon Goodwin just keeps on keeping on. I know Smithy referred to Andrew McLeod earlier, but Simon Goodwin turns 33 in December. 37 possession game last week and dominating again today. Walker pops it towards half forward, and Otten. He has grown as a player as well, Andy Otten. He won the NAB Rising Star nomination earlier this year when these two teams met in round 9. So he doesn't mind playing the Blues either. Marich will slap down Thompson. Release kick to the wing, and it bounces on the line. And bounces out, and the crowd want deliberate. They don't get it. They want anything they can get right now. 27 points to margin. Biggest lead of the game. McKay to Vince. Thompson just pops it towards half forward. Signs! The pluck over the top. No mark. Simpson to Cruiser. Scotland shoots it wide. Judd hasn't had a massive afternoon at the office. Chris Judd. Possession number 13 coming up.
There's no work for him.
No run. No one's running.
No one running. No one running at all.
Scotland. Judd takes them on through the middle. John Cock and Brown almost plucked that. Otten with the crumb. Hamill missed the target. Stevens, little fumble. Riley through traffic. Marich. John Cock. They can get out of trouble with a release kick wide to Thompson. He's got one-on-ones ahead. Holds it up. And this is a good kick too to McLeod. He's away here, Andrew McLeod. Heads to the pocket. Henschel feeding back. One hand, he's got it regardless. Would have been a free.
Well, Mark Murphy looking back at his teammates. I'll tell you why in a minute.
Oh my goodness. McCabe was free. Vince was free. It was a raffle of Adelaide Crows players working overtime to get there.
Mark Murphy is playing on Andrew McLeod, and McLeod was the one that broke free from defence and set this kick up that went to Henschel, who got the free kick and set up this shot for goal. But he was covering another Adelaide player that was loose, trying to make sure they couldn't get out of defence easily, but no one covered his man.
Not sure how they decided who would take that mark, the two boys, but McKay splits the middle. They lead by 33.
Well, one thing that's obvious, Chase, is the amount of work. We usually talk when the opposition got the ball, but it's the amount of work that Adelaide are doing when they spread. I mean, they really are working hard to create options, and that's sometimes tough because you don't get rewarded. I'm just disappointed. That was a cover-up you're talking about with Murphy then, but it's the numbers of Adelaide players who are making themselves available.
You just see Murphy ducking in there, but no one. Then he has to go and chase his man. It's a long way back now.
It's almost time to shut up shop and think about next week. They could be playing the Blues. If they lose this, the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba in an elimination final.
Yeah, but the other thing they've got to do, Dwayne, is do something that gives them a bit of confidence going into next week. They've got to find a little bit of form over the next quarter and a half to take something out of this game so they can say, well, you know what, OK, we got beaten, but we did this. At the moment, they've stopped to a walk.
Possession 20 for Bryce Gibbs. High to half forward. Simpson couldn't find the handle. Johnson lays the tackle. He's pleading for a free and he gets it. The crowd and some pleading with him. Brendan Favola leads. Stumped longer. Simpson won't even get a chance to leap there. He bumped into the back of Marich.
Why do you kick it? Why do you kick it long and high to a small bloke that's standing on the opposition ruckman? That's got me beat, that. He was no chance in a one-on-one contest against Marich.
And that wasn't a hand in the back, but it was the two movement push. So that's been a free kick for 100 years. Doughty to John Cock.
And you made this comment earlier too, Parker. The defensive pressure that the Blues had in the first term and for most of the first half, it's really starting to dissipate the longer the game goes. And I think they've just, Adelaide have run the sting out of Carlton's legs.
John Cock called to play on to Marich, and again has the reach on Simpson. Thompson to McLeod. Short, poor pleasure. Got Tippett short. Splendid pass.
How good is that? They are starting to look clinical, the Adelaide Crows. Jason Porplesia is just an exceptional player. He's the star. The ability to wheel onto your opposite foot and just deliver the ball like that to your key forward and tip it. Exceptional stuff.
There'll be a few above them on the ladder that won't be enjoying what they're seeing right now, because I think Carlton are trying with everything they've got. I think their method's wrong. I agree with you on that. But at the moment, they're playing Adelaide into some exceptional form for the home game next week.
And if the team's out of the top 8, you'd say Adelaide are the ones that can make it to a preliminary final.
Absolutely.
For a 39-point lead. They can smell home final now.
And on top of that all, Jace, the capacity to convert it at the rate they are. I mean, we're looking at 50% there. They're well, they're what, 66% in terms of their accuracy round goal from set shots, which is finishing off the good work of everybody else. That's what you want from forwards.
Ron Smith downstairs.
Well, Dwayne, what Carlton, I think, have made a really good move at the moment. They've put Matty Cruiser to full forward just next to Brendan Favola, so it's a two-pronged attack, so it gives them an extra target up there in the forward line.
So Hampson in the ruck against Stella. Dangerfield plucked it. Well done. Thompson, Otten, kick smothered. OK, the Blues a chance here. Stevens pounces. Well, now he does. Simpson. Inside 50, sizes them up. Can he bend it back? Cruiser's down there. Can't get a hand on it. And it's out of play on the full.
Gee, Mark Murphy gave Cade Simpson a spray. He wanted the hand pass inside. They're just starting to snip at each other now, the Blues.
Symes. Seller.
Oh, look at the run again.
McKay. Just gets the kick away in time. Burton flies. Can't take the mark. Knights. Pokes it inside 50. Tippett can't get there. Thornton with the mark. A fan to the open side. Walker. Carazzo. The Blues can lose this and still get a home final next week, but they need the Lions to lose tonight.
Oh, they'll be cheering for Sydney like you wouldn't believe tonight, Dwayne.
Oh, he played on out of play.
Well, the possessions that count, Parker, the contested possessions in this third quarter, 14-5 in favour of Adelaide.
I reckon we could have picked that just watching it out. If you look at the board, they've upped their work rate in the contest.
Both these teams coming off their highest possession game in their club history last week. Gibbs pops it inside 50 and John Cock gets back. The Blues should call for a count.
Well, that's the thing, Dwayne, and this is, people don't understand how hard they work, how hard they run Adelaide. They get numbers back behind the ball, but then as soon as they win it, they spread and run forward, and they have more numbers going forward with the ball, and you think, well, where are the opposition loose players?
Vince to McKay to Symes. Thornton should mop this up. Sorry, Jason.
That's one of the few poor kicks going forward for the Adelaide Crows. But you just wonder, where are the opposition loose players? And the fact is they don't work as hard as the Adelaide Crows do.
Joseph. A wobbling, bouncing ball. Fav can't make the ground to. He dives in the layer tackle at least. John Cock runs into a gang tackle. Dragged down. No. Hard. Fav came in late. Frustration being shown.
So they square it up because they've got extra numbers behind the footy. But now they run that hard, they'll still find options going forward.
Now Thornton was coming off here. He was a spare man. And that holds Edwards up. Forced to go back. Vince. He's had 22 possessions now, Bertie Vince. To Stevens to Burt. Nice fist from Bauer. And he pounces and goes. Gibbs can go long if he wants to. Here comes the lead. Favola on the move. Waits for it. Tries to turn onto it. Rutten. Favola. Joseph makes it a 2-on-2. Back to Fav. Goes with the banana. Bends it back. Gives them life. He's got 4.
Well, Chase says, I think probably no one else in the competition, including Johnson at Geelong, etc. He could have kicked the banana from that distance out on the turn, off the wrong side, actually. So
Off one step,
all of that. And you come to see those sorts of things. But in the finish, Fev still had to beat, even the turnover the other end, still had to beat 3-on-1, you know, before he got the artillery arrived to support him.
$85 goals for the season now for Brendan Favola, who knows, if Carlton played 2, 3, maybe 4 finals, he could beat last year's 99 still.
He could, and I dare say he just enjoyed watching a replay of that on the big screen. He was looking up there. That was pretty special, that goal.
Oh, Dangerfield went so hard there. Typical of the Crow style. Goodwin tries to thread a handball through traffic. Again, Dangerfield hassles. Gibbs, turnover. McLeod, Seller, Symes, Edwards, and trying to go back and get it. Dangerfield again. He could go all the way here. From 60. Goes with the pass instead. No mark to Marriage. Playing it full forward. Thought got it from Scotland. Gives it to Bauer. Gets it back again. Short to Houlihan. 33 points the margin. Carazzo, a little fumble. Ducks out of trouble. Houlihan gives it up. Johnson. Joseph. Murphy. Slung 360. You know what that normally means.
He's had just a horror day, Mark Murphy. 9 possessions, no impact.
Symes short to Dangerfield. This time he might go all the way. And he does, but it's inaccurate. Got to play on the full. Armfield. Walker. 16 minutes gone, third term. Russell. Thornton gives it back. Danger. And Thornton should get them out of trouble short. Brown, Scotland, Carazzo. Favola's calling for it long. He's on the move. In his direction. Can't take the mark. Got a hand to it. Otten. Stevens. Goodwin. Seller. John Cock.
Look at the options through the middle of the ground. Extraordinary.
And now to finish it all off, Symes from 45. Start buying your seats for Amy next week.
If any passage of play epitomises the way the Crows play, that one there is it. They won the ball down back and then they just ran in numbers. There's the spoil of the ball. It's 10 or 15 metres deep in their defensive 50. Look at the numbers running through the middle of the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see them all there queuing up to get on the end of it. And it just breaks the heart of the opposition. And then a running goal is the perfect way to finish it.
Between the actual spoil and the kick, there were 9 hand passes. Now, that's at least we'd say that's 9 options, but we know on either side of the 9 options there are another 2 coming. They are incredible. I've been mesmerised since you've started to point out their work rate in both directions exceptional.
Edwards. Manhandled but got a handball off. Thompson, game tackle, dragged down, holding the ball. Had prior opportunity. 39 points the margin.
And Dwayne, instead of Chris Judd coming off for a rest, he's actually been moved into the forward line at the moment. So a little bit of goal scoring power for Carlton.
Stevens handballs it behind Thornton. And that was okay in the end. Walker. Cruiser.
It's just slow movement of the footy, and this suits Adelaide, allows them to get their numbers back and set up.
Yaron. Mark.
Well, even the way Cruiser went for that in front of us, he walked up, stood on the spot when it was coming to and took it. Didn't go through the ball, didn't have any momentum when he got it, so what else could he do?
Cruiser front spot, little flick down. Dowdy had it but lost it. Seller. Dowdy wrapped up by Judd. And we'll get another ball up.
Been a fascinating battle between Bernie Vince and Bryce Gibbs. Gibbs has had the most possessions on the ground with 23, but you've got to say Vince has taken the points because he's had 21 possessions, but more importantly 3 goals to his name.
A little flick by Cruiser to Carazzo. Russell, they're going backwards. Armfield, Scotland, even further backwards. Thornton, Gibbs, Riley tried to cut it off. Here's to Bauer. Walker.
Look at the numbers closing them down. It's extraordinary.
Scotland goes hard. So did McKay. Bauer tries to take on McKay. Maybe just got a shoelace on it. Walker through traffic. he caught, and he holding the ball. Play on advantage? No, it won't be allowed.
There were 4 of them away if he does call play on.
Well, unfortunately, Carlton had 4 in reverse. They were putting the brakes on, were they?
John Cott. Okay, fit to Tippett, unslapped, and he gets the free.
And in the back, the umpire signalling. Well, he was never going to be able to spoil the footy because he was reaching out for it in front. Tippett, he's got as long, I'd say, a set of arms as anyone in the game, so there's no chance Bauer could spoil. The left hand just touching the back and the right hand hitting the shoulder.
Perfect kick on the way to him, though, wasn't it? Was it almost impossible to defend?
Every game this year after 19 games in his debut season last year. He kicked 17 goals, 17 last year. And this is for goal number 46 for this year. Bends it back. Not enough.
I remember also that this is an Adelaide team that not too long ago was criticised for being so defensive and having such low scoring matches. And here we are, not even three-quarter time. And they've got 17 goals, 9 on the board.
Well, Carlton is the highest scoring team on average at Etihad Stadium this year. And they've already got 11 goals on the board. The trouble is Adelaide's got 17.
And they're stopped. They're holding the Blues up. They're having to kick laterally, short, sideways kicks that aren't gaining any ground for them and putting themselves under pressure.
Russell kicks smothered. Cut off by Henschel. Oh, it's party time for the Crows.
A shell shot for the Blues, Parker.
Oh, they are. But a terrific effort by Henschel, who shouldn't be known, I guess, as a bloke who can cover the ground and smother, if you like, and retrieve the ball as he did then. Exceptional skill for a big bloke. Always thought he had been. It's great that he can stand up and now deliver.
Great to see him back. Many, maybe even including himself, thought it was career over. Horrendous knee reconstruction. And he is back, and he might be a big September wildcard. Judd, the half-forward Alton. Hands in the back on Wiggins.
Right on the 50, boss. Simon Wiggins kick.
There's another change. Simon Wiggins has gone forward. He started in defence. We saw him probably play his best footy when he was playing as that hit-up half-forward.
Stevens from 60. Heads to the square. Once again, Adelaide getting numbers back. Play on. Now, it's not deliberate. Off hands, it's okay. John Cott plays on quickly. They might be leading by 45 points, but it's obviously not enough. John Cott long toward the wing. And that's a beautiful pluck. Over the top by Eddie Otten. What a rising star he is. Burton waits. Mark to Thornton.
It's impressive the way you watch the Adelaide Crows move the ball from one end of the ground to the other so seamlessly. And the ability to apply pressure to the opposition is resulting in these sorts of mistakes. Everyone thought that you had to be in the top 4 to win it. There's only 4 chances. Maybe people are starting to have a rethink because the Crows have done it before, winning from outside the top 4, and this sort of form will give them the confidence they can do it again.
Doughty gets a kick away. Play on, as you heard. Little tap, Tippett. In fact, he tipped it. Dangerfield, Paul Pleasure, they're queuing up. The Porpoise has 3.
I guess the other side of the coin, Pargo, as much as we sing the praises of Adelaide, what does it do for the confidence of the Blues getting a pounding like this?
Yeah, and it won't. I would think if they've got to travel north, although their record there in the last couple of years has been pretty good against Brisbane, they might have the ammunition, but having got such a great start, they would have been pleased with their efforts to quarter time. To be cut apart in the manner which they have, you would think would destroy their confidence.
No Crow has kicked 60 goals in a year since Tony Modra. It's been a long time since the great Tony Modra played for the Crows, and Paul Pleasure now has 51 for the year, and he'll have at least 1 final, maybe 2 or 3. Who knows, maybe 4. And the ball up. Little push in the back to Thompson.
Free kick. Play on.
Shoots it wide. Goodman. They're still taking this game on, Adelaide. They haven't had enough yet. Tippett. Burton.
Oh!
That's one of the marks of the century. Burton's back big time.
That is just
what
an unbelievable leap. He just jumped on top of the pack and then got the second lift. He's come from 30 metres away. The crowd will enjoy the replay. He's jumped on the ruckman's shoulders, Tippett and Cruiser in front of him, and then got the lift. That is classic Birdman. Oh, he got the second rise once he was on top.
And that's probably what we haven't seen from him up until this point, recovery from that injury.
Can't finish it off, but everybody here at Etihad Stadium waiting for the replay.
Has to be mark of the year, Dwayne, doesn't it? I can't think of a better mark than this.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a better mark.
That's unbelievable, mark.
I want the umpires to just stop play for a little while and we can just digest the beauty of that.
Well, he jumped on the pack early and then got catapulted as the pack went up, kept his balance and eyes on the footy, took it cleanly, and then fell sideways off the top of the pack.
In the meantime, Bernie Vince, 22 possessions now for him. Over the head of Dowdy, little fumble by Gibbs. Adelaide a chance again. Thompson, John Cox smothered, back to Gibbs. Speaking of possessions, number 25 for him, misses a target. Dowdy got it from Stevens, gives it to Goodwin, dumps it long. Where's Burton? Can't get near it. Fist from Cruiser, dumps it down, but a dangerous spot. Walker, Johnson, Brown, Walker, gang tackle.
And that's the impressive thing. You're leading by 50 points and you've still got relentless pressure and chasing and tackling. They are as well drilled as any team in the competition, the Adelaide Crows.
And they're going to leave with a tremendous confidence in each other. Absolutely superb team effort.
Good luck the Bombers going over there next week. Now, as I understand it, Dwayne, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Blues will play Brisbane regardless. It's just a matter of whether it's in Brisbane or down here.
Spot on. Yes, Adelaide will finish 5th and play the 8th place team, which after today's win by the Bombers over the Hawks is Essendon. And 6th will play 7th, which will be Carlton and Brisbane. The Lions, if you're unaware, will play Sydney at the SCG tonight. A little dust up.
I think Chris Judd was getting a little bit frustrated there. He gave a little bit of a facial to Dowdy.
Yeah, Jason was just right in front of me, actually. And Chris Judd just getting a little bit frustrated, not only with himself, with his teammates as well.
Ball in. Murphy. Possession number 11 for him. And it's a wobbler. Vince. Dragged down. Carazzo. Wiggins. Houlihan. They are shell-shocked at the moment, the Blues. Yaron. Short. Gibbs. Lead comes.
On the 50.
Joseph will kick one to this end. The opening term, maybe beyond his range.
Don't go forward at the line.
Poor old Fev, he hasn't had much space to lead into. Even when they have one possession, there's a wall of Adelaide players in front of him. He's one out as the tall, even if the kick does drop short.
Joseph sets sail. It's not bad. And it's marked by Stevens on the line. Dangerfield. Symes.
Away they go again.
Goodwin, McLeod. Paul Pleasure the target. Hampson gets back. Oh, they collide. Paul Pleasure collects. Runs to 45. Sensational to watch.
Now, Parko, I mean, this has got an out of hand for Carlton. We are looking now at a potential massive score that's going to be kicked by Adelaide here. I mean, it's not even three-quarter time, and they've got 130 points on the board.
And they've been absolutely unrelenting. I mean, that's the good thing about it. They just look like they're hungry for more and more and more. Their work in the contest, support the Blake with the ball, and defensively has been magnificent.
Do we have to get the record books out, Dwayne? I'm starting to think record score the way they're playing here at the moment. This is just exceptional stuff.
20 goals on the board right now, and we're not yet to three-quarter time. Sella, little flick back. They don't even look like putting the cue in the rack either. Adelaide, Carazzo, hands off Murphy. It's been the story for him all afternoon.
It's a shame for Mark Murphy. Unfortunately, today's the day he's probably had the worst game of the season.
He is shell-shocked.
But he hasn't actually had the hard tag either. He just hasn't been able to find the football.
Thompson hacks it to half forward. Tippett, dragged down. He kind of had it, even though he hadn't collected it yet. Russell, Murphy, Scotland, the open side, Joseph. 58 points the margin. Judd, Goodwin comes at him. Bounce pass to Gibbs. Back to Joseph. Two Crows coming at him. Hampson with the leap here. Gets a hand on it, knocks it down. Johnson to Gibbs. And finally, the Blues get something to celebrate.
Well, there wasn't all that. Well, they're hanging in, I suppose, in the sense there wasn't all that much method in that, but off at least a good contest from Hampson at centre-half forward, which brought the ball to the ground and gave access, and Gibbs did put a nice one under the defence of Adelaide and through the sticks. But it's been few and far between, Jace. It's been terribly difficult to get it into 50, let alone score a goal.
Adelaide Crow fans would love to remind Carlton that they should have Bryce Gibbs playing for the Crows under the father-son rule.
Gee, imagine if you slotted him into the lineup now.
His father Ross, 256 games of football for Glenelg and for South Australia, but not enough in the qualifying period. The Adelaide Crows still yet to have a father-son. Knights, Sella, Johncock. Edwards. 45 seconds left. Time enough for another score. Burton, he set himself and then decided not to. Henschel, he snaps and bounces it across the face.
Probably just went at it a little bit too hard with that round the corner kick, though. That little dribbly one that they get to break back into the goals has to be kicked a little bit more prudently, just a little bit softer. Yeah.
And if you've joined us late, make sure you join us during three-quarter time, because we will show you the replay of the Burton mark when we come back. It is mark of the year.
I could watch it another 10 times easily, right?
And if ever there is a poster for our great game to be expanded beyond Australia's shores, that mark might be on it. Scotland.
Trouble is, if you show it to people, they'll say, well, how did you put him up there? Did you suspend him by a cord? Did he use a ladder?
Well, it's better than anything the AFL manufactured in their ad to promote the game pre-season. Three-quarter time here at Etihad Stadium. 53-point lead for the Adelaide Crows. Home final coming their way next week. It'll be an elimination final against the Bombers. And we might be in for a record score still. 20 goals, 11, 131. The Carlton, 12-6, 78. At Etihad Stadium, it's a roof-shut game. It's raining outside. Pristine conditions, and the Adelaide Crows have made the most of them.
He's had 4 possessions and the mark of the century. That's not a bad day, is it?
131 plays 78.
Interesting that O'Halpin's gone back for Carlton and Brett Thornton's gone forward.
Gibbs to Judd. Got a handball of sorts. Scotland back to Judd. Symes flies and brings it down. He's over it. He's caught and he's gone.
Holding the ball. Mark Murphy's kick. Hold it there. Play on now.
Murphy, Walker over the head of Favola. Cruiser lurking, but stolen from him by McLeod. To Stevens, to Johncock. To the open side they peel. Over the head of Marriage. Hampson. Thornton. Hampson. He wasn't expecting it back, the big man. That's not a kick, it was off his knee. McKay, Vince, Symes, McKay, Symes, Vince, Edwards, Johncock. Coming off their highest possession game ever last week, the Adelaide Crows, and they're enjoying mixing it up again today. Short pass and a good cut-off fist by O'Halpin. Judd back to Satanta, dives in and does well. Wiggins, Hawker, almost a throw from Russell. Scotland, Henschel drags him down and wins a shot at goal.
Hold it there. Back there, back there.
Well, we mentioned before, he hasn't had a wealth of possession, Parko. He's had 8 possessions, kicked 1 goal too, but just every time you see him get involved and doing things like this, that's inspirational. And that's just icing on the cake if he starts to have an impact as well.
Yeah, been superb in that he's done all sorts of things. He's taken some good marks, he's kicked goals, he's chased down, and I think he's got a lot of faith and confidence back in his body.
We've got forwards wherever you look now. At the start of this year, everyone wondered where were their goals going to come from.
Oh, a miss hit.
He sprayed it, and it's almost bounced through.
Well, you've just seen it, Bill. 3 Carlton blokes went for that ball, hung in the air.
Didn't touch it.
Clean bowled the whole 3.
Walker.
Right on the mark there.
This is their problem, getting it out of here.
And the Blues crowd are stunned.
Well, the difference is it's just the field ahead of them is stagnant. No one's running. There's not that discipline to run, regardless of whether you're going to get the ball or even if it's just to create space for someone else.
Stevens wide, Wiggins on the line.
This, movement, as we've always said in footy, never changed. Movement creates movement.
Yeah.
Bauer gets past Riley.
And there's the problem, because Paul Bauer decided, no, we've got to take them on. So he takes them on, but then looks up and there's no options.
Movement. Oh, yeah, my theory was just exploded in one kick.
John Cock, McLeod, Doughty comes out wide to Goodwin. Now the leads come. There's shorts, there's longs. He puts it in the hole. Knights! Oh, the gather and spin, but only behind.
Sorry, Dwayne, but within 3 seconds there was a difference, wasn't it? No movement for Bauer and about eight leads for whoever was going in.
See what's amazing here is the Adelaide Crows have had 47 inside 50s. They've scored 33 times. That's an incredible conversion rate.
Otten again. Vince again. Symes forced to go and get this one. Might give it to Goodwin. Does give it to Goodwin. Lead comes short. It's Knights. Can't get there to mark. And get a ball in. Nice fist from Wiggins.
Partly due to the setup, Chase, that they've elected Carlton to play a 7 or 8 man forward line, and obviously Adelaide at the other end are playing a 3 or 4 man.
Marich almost takes it out of the ruck. Gibbs, arms free. Murphy, Houlihan, Walker, Carazzo, Judd, well fed. Murphy, Simpson, Favola.
Well, that's all Fev's asked for. Just a chance to run at the footy and have someone kick it to him. He'll go back and have the shot here. No need for him to pass it off because he's well within range and kicking beautifully. But he just hasn't seen an opportunity like that all day.
Well, they took the risk with their hands, Jace. They used hands 4 or 5 times. We haven't seen that since about the 18-minute mark of the first quarter.
Yep. Well, he's already got the Coleman sewn up. He's got 4 today. Jonathan Brown would need to kick double figures tonight to beat him to it.
How well has he struck it?
Unbelievably good.
You think about the skills of our game. We've seen the mark of the century, but we've also seen one of the great converters over the distance. Now, he's a magnificent kick of the ball.
I reckon Ben Rutten will feel hardly done by. He hasn't done a lot wrong, and he's got 5 against him, and he's thinking, well, hang on, I kept the bloke for 6 kicks or 7 kicks or whatever it is, and he just kept kicking him from everywhere.
Five goals for the afternoon for Fev. 86 for the season now. He's never kicked double figures, Brendan Favola.
That's strange, that, isn't it? For a man that kicks so many goals, you would think he'd have a couple of days out where he gets into double figures.
9 is his best. Edwards backtracks, ran too far.
50.
Is it 50?
Well,
not given. Could
no, it
be.
wasn't given.
Murphy heads wide. Thornton.
Oh, he wanted it too, Fev. He wanted
Still
it.
wants it. Is ignored. Cruiser, goal square. Thumb clear of him. Vince could take it through, but don't even want to concede a behind. Symes to Goodwin. Edwards tries to don't argue and manufacture a kick.
That's a good kick.
Goodwin, Edwards gone. Fair brings him down. Had prior opportunity. Gone. And Brendan Favola can line up for number 6.
Did he have prior opportunity then, Dwayne? There's the first one. He gets a magnificent kick away. As soon as it gets, I'm not convinced there's prior opportunity there. But what he's not doing is making any sort of effort, I guess. I think he's hardly done by it.
The team had prior opportunity there.
True.
So
but
Tyson Edwards paid the price.
Fev's licking his chops because what's been a dirty day for Carlton, he can walk off with his head held high because from limited opportunities he can end up with a bag of goals.
And just to put those young people into perspective, with Brendan Favola never kicking 10 goals in a game, our own Jason Dunstall, he did it 16 times. 10 or more for Jason Dunstall. So that's a comparison of 2 of our great goal kickers of all time. In fact, Jason, your best was 17 in an afternoon, which is one sort of day at the office.
Yeah, but different era in the game was played a lot differently back then.
Too modest.
No, look, we just don't see double figures kicked these days, do we? So rarely, because of the way the game's played.
Rutten long. Joseph in the hole. Comes back inboard. Walker. 48 points the margin. Spoil from Vince. Still doing the 1%ers. Bauer heads wide to Murphy. Houlihan. Favola wants it short. Simpson sees Favola, gives it to Carazzo. Favola still leading. He's caught. Symes, John Cock, Edwards, Goodwin, the usual suspects. Doughty, McKay. Having a fantastic day. Over McKay. Possession number 19.
Great chase from Cruiser. Great chase.
A little pop-up kick misses Tippett. Poor pleasure. Strength, spins out of trouble. Tippett loops it wide. Thompson bangs it high to the goal square. Tippett can't get there. Neither can Walker. Henschel does on the bounce. Gets a kick away. Scotland mops it up. Murphy. Thornton. Yarran. Stevens. Yarran was dumped behind the play. Favola on the end of Thornton's bounce pass. Spins out of trouble. Hands to Carazzo. Ton of time here. Really needs to kick this. Does the job. Well played, Fev.
Interesting call by the umpire and all of that, because a player was taken out after disposal of the footy and he called the 50-metre penalty, but he still paid the advantage. That's I wasn't aware of that one.
Yep, never heard that.
I thought if the 50's given, you take the 50.
Yeah, you have to.
I think he saw such an open forward line.
He said, I'll take pity on it.
Yeah, he summed it up pretty quickly. Yeah, Fev. He's got 5, open forward line, 1-on-1.
Not very common, but we've got a bit of common sense out there.
Oh, very nice. 133 to 91. Blues trying to win back some respect.
Okay.
42,356 here.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Carlton are going to kick a very respectable score, but the problem is they've leaked like a sieve at the other end.
Good portion of that 42,000 Crows fans as well. Edwards, Doughty, McLeod runs to 50, shorts it. Thompson.
There's a coolness in his decision-making, Andrew McLeod, isn't there? He was at full tilt. Most players probably would have just banged it on the left foot and kicked it long. He just propped, stopped, waited for a target to come towards him.
Couldn't win another Norman Smith, could he?
Quite.
Wouldn't put anything above it.
You would not. Thompson from 48. Bends it back. Awesome.
Their decision-making for most of the afternoon going into 50, and then the execution, having made a good decision, has been first rate. I reckon that's probably the most crucial aspect of your team play, is how you take it in 50, but to whom it goes and how it goes. But that kick by McLeod gave the defending player no chance at all.
You've got to wonder whether the Adelaide Crows now put some players in cotton wool. Scott Thompson could be one of them. Had a bruised hip last week. There was doubt as to whether he'd play this week. A corked hip, but he's been okay.
Just 18 possessions, but that's down on his usual output.
Yep. Judd inside 50. Murphy fumble from the crumb and then sends it home. Consolation prize for him.
And you called that well, Dwayne, in that that's been his afternoon. He's had to recover his own position, I reckon, 5 or 6 times by not cleanly taking the ball in the first instance. I mean, he's good enough then to recover it and kick a goal, but it's been very costly, I'd have to say, along the way today. Yeah, well, you reckon, Jason, if we'd said, you know, Carlton are going to kick 15-7, you reckon they'd be right in the hunt?
If you're in triple figures, you've kicked a respectable score, but the bottom line is, apart from the first quarter where they kicked 7 of their 15 goals today, they've been belted today.
Absolutely right.
Well, Dwayne, you can just see David McKay getting his right ankle re-strapped at the moment. He just limped off just a couple of minutes ago, so they're not too concerned. They'll just strap it up and he'll get back on.
Brett Burton also on the bench. Gibbs, possession number 31. Favola, he was stalking that. John Coxton in the hole. Symes.
Still they run.
Yep. McLeod, Henschel. Heads wide. And Walker. Nice. Simpson. Gibbs. Thornton. And now Favola. Might be too far out to score this time. Good score from Rutten regardless. Joseph back to Favola. Might have the snap. Unselfishly feeds it off. Yaron. Well, he's playing to keep his spot. Probably no doubt that Carlton will be bringing back a couple of those dropped Eddie Betts and Jeffrey Garlett. Given that he kicked 4 goals last week, Jeffrey Garlett will come back next week for their elimination final. And maybe Cameron Cloak as well. And I'll now be wondering whether they did the right thing by dropping all 3.
No, they'll stay committed to that decision, Dwayne. It wasn't about selecting the team for this week or for this season. That was about the culture of the club.
McLeod says, see you later. Runs to 50 and hits Tippett. Trademark.
They played on. And still kicked it. It's a strange decision to play on when you mark the ball 12 metres out directly in front of goals. He got himself out of trouble in the end, but he wouldn't want to make a habit of it, I suspect. You called it well, Dwayne. Andrew McLeod, we didn't know if Top Gear was still there. I think it is. He's got the turbo when he needs it. He left a couple of them in his wake. He really put the afterburners on. Look at Tippett take a strong mark. Then he thinks, I'll make it easy. Ooh, got himself in trouble.
3 goals for Kirk Tippett. He's got speed in his genes, Andrew McLeod. His father, originally a Melbourne boy from Waverley, a Scotsman. Jock was a sprinter as a teen. He also played about 250 games for Buffaloes in the Northern Territory, but he was a sprinter as a kid. Jock, and he'll be here, no doubt, watching today again. Goodwin shoots it towards Dowdy. He's put out the one paw.
Yes.
Haven't seen a lot of that today from the Adelaide Crows. Murphy.
About their first mistake.
Well, he hasn't had a great day, Dowdy, I think.
Hampson. And now the lead. Favola plays for the free. Doesn't get it. Henschel. And now Thompson's away in space.
The players in the corridor if he wants them.
Has a bounce, pursued by Stevens, who went off earlier with a neck problem. And he's back on Nick Stevens. Short pass to Riley. So hope he's okay. I think he just lost a boot.
He's one that hasn't contributed today.
Thompson thumps it long. Burton in the hole again. He almost marked that. And you'll get the free Burton regardless.
He's penalised Simon Wiggins for looking at him and taking his space away when he was going to run and jump instead of attacking the footy.
He certainly doesn't look as comfortable down there, Wiggins. I still think he's a good hit-up half forward, but not a defender.
Well, the Adelaide Crows are to win the flag this year. That man could be your wild card.
I suspect Simon Wiggins was thinking, I'm about to have Mark of the Year taken on my head and I need to take the jump away from him. You can see he backs into him. He doesn't have his eyes on the footy. And that's a good decision by the umpire. But Brett Burton, you're right, Wayne, he's got a great role to play for this team. He can still really influence a game.
Few patrons departing. They've seen enough. 53 points the margin.
Back here, guys.
And they're not sure whether they'll get a final in Melbourne next week or not. The Blues fans, they could be headed to the Gabba to play the Lions in an elimination final. If the Lions win tonight, they certainly will be. Bouncing ball to half forward. Paul Pleasure slick. Thompson. Bouncing ball. Tippett again. Hands it off. Thompson rolls it towards goal. Wiggins gets back. Doesn't rush it through. Stevens. Gibbs. Little 1-2 with Stevens. And just floats it up high. Simpson. Goodwin. Russell. In the side, as you heard, and it's kept alive by Thornton. Walker. Scotland. Russell. And now Gibbs again. Favola calls for it. He's ignored. Johnson. Short pass to Yarra.
Fev just kept going on his lead. He's lurking and Ben Rutten's aware. He said, you're not going to run around the back and get this handball. Wherever you go, I'm going.
And this is a team without Nathan Bock, of course. And he could be back in 2 weeks' time. So their defence is only going to get better. Important goal that. Not necessarily for Carlton, but for Chris Yarra. Wearing the 2 armbands today, Chris Yarra. And David, the Blues wearing the black armbands for Jean Deacon.
That's right, the wife of the great Deacon, Brownlow medalist. And she's been a staunch supporter, has stayed with the club and up until of later come to all games. Wonderful person, Jeannie Deacon.
Been a tough first season for Chris Yarra. 47 points the margin after his first goal of the afternoon. 19 minutes gone, final term. These two teams just 7 minutes away from finals. Late tackle.
Hey, take the free kick.
Signs.
Take the free kick for the high tackle. Don't go on with it.
A little bit of an argument. Russell being told by the umpire, take your free kick or handball if you like. Gibbs. Favola manhandled out of it. Didn't like it. Houlihan slaps it down to his own advantage. Gets the kick away to full forward. Rutten back with a flight. Yarra almost. He'll need to pounce on those come finals time. He'll need to pounce on those to keep his spot in the next 5 minutes. Goodwin wide. And again they reload. McKay, Vince, Edwards. Wobbler from his boot. Carlton can reload here. Wiggins to Gibbs. Thornton. Favola's in the hands of trainers.
Yeah, he's a bit proppy. He can't lead at all.
Houlihan knocks it down. Yarra pounces on this. Tried to handball it to his own advantage. Favola fights on. Left the trainers behind. Henschel to Goodwin. They've been spectacularly good, this Adelaide Crows lineup today. Edwards. Neil Craig said during the week he knows there's some pressure on him. Favola's in the hands of trainers. Neil Craig said himself that it's their recent history that has brought a little bit of pressure on them. They finished top of the ladder at the home and away season end back in 2005 and then didn't make the grand final. 2006 they finished second at the end of the home and away season and again didn't make the grand final. And 2008 last year they finished fifth and won a home final but were smashed by Collingwood in it. So they have to make themselves confident heading into September. And boy, kicks like that from players like Knights should have them confident heading into next week.
It's not a bad spread, Parker, when you've got 12 individual goal kickers and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 multiple goal scorers. They've kicked 3s and 4s. Brendan Favola in the hands of the trainers, spent plenty of time there. He was worked off the ball there. Then he gets involved in a passive play, and I think he went down awkwardly perhaps in this tackle here. Might just get the right leg twisted underneath him.
Well, we've got at least a fight. I think my maths are right. It's about even, Stephen. I think it might have been 53 points at three-quarter time. I think the margin's probably about the same now.
Walker, that's a throw, surely. Flick that up. Not paid. Sella was lurking wide. Not sure why he was on his own, but he was there for a while. Got it from Vince, gives it long. Burton again got hands to it. Henschel the crumb. He spins around and he kicks a ripper.
They've just been remarkable. I think when Neil Craig looks back at this game, he would say all players, and I can't find, there are a couple at the bottom end. Obviously Van Burlo went off early. Burton's done a few things, and Riley's been, I think, score contributor, but all players in all aspects for all of the game, with the exception of a brilliant start to Carlton. So you'd have to walk away absolutely delighted.
Let's head down to Ron Smith.
Well, Dwayne, 3 messages have gone out to Brendan Favola. They're trying to get him off the ground at the moment. They're worried about his left ankle. He just rolled it in a little bit of a tackle. They're trying to get him off, but he's just refusing to come off. So he just keeps sending the runner back, boys.
Never easy to get a forward
Tip it.
off.
Good hand. Sorry, Jason.
When he thinks he's capable of kicking more goals, and every time he gets it, he thinks he's striking it well and he'll kick a goal fair. He's keen to get 1 or 2 more to his name, but
Surely he's got the Coleman wrapped up.
yep, he should come off and prepare for next week.
He's got 86 for the season, and Jonathan Brown, who plays tonight, has 75. And by the way, this is Adelaide's biggest ever score against Carlton.
Although I'm sure Fev's just thinking he just gave it a little tweak. He's okay, no damage. But certainly not going to be able to do much when the ball's at the other end, and this bloke's taking big, strong marks. It's a massive score they've kicked, Adelaide.
He's kicked 3-3 so far today. Kirk Tippett squeezes it in, does some more damage.
Well, they haven't taken the foot off the accelerator, Jason, I think at any stage, and it's amazing how when you're committing yourself like this, they've had a few blokes in collision mode and lost one, which is always a worry in a game like this. I think Van Burlo would be lucky to come up next week, but they've survived as a unit. I'm not sure where Bock is in terms of inclusion, but they can get better maybe.
The biggest score in the history of the club, the Adelaide Crows, is 30 goals, 8, 188. So they've got 26 goals, 13 now. They're unlikely to better that, but this is their biggest ever score against Carlton, and they are blowing this out by the minute. Scotland to Wiggins, heads wide. Otten, one of the most impressive youngsters in the league right now. Hands it off to Thompson. Sends it along to Sella. He's never kicked an AFL goal. Will he go back and line it up? Might as well.
50's the mark. 50's the mark.
He's thinking about it, Dwayne. I think he'd like to have that against his name.
Game number 10. They lead by 65 points. Might as well have a crack. Get his name on the score sheet. Sits it up. Burton again from the front of the pack. Tippett can't mark. Thornton to Brown to Scotland. Gibbs. Possession number 37 coming up. Just playing out the remaining seconds. No mercy rule in the AFL, otherwise we would have been over at three-quarter time. Joseph, The Blues have joined us late. Stevens drops it. Goodwin hands it off. Symes. The Blues will play Brisbane next week. If the Lions win tonight at the SCG, the Blues will play the Lions at the Gabba next week in their elimination final. McLeod from 50 sends it long. Burton, big fly, can't bring it down this time. If you have joined us late, make sure you watch the news services tonight to have a look at Brett Burton's mark. I've never ever seen one better. Scotland wide. Wiggins. The Crows will host the Bombers next week at AAMI Stadium in their elimination final. The Bombers defeating the Hawks earlier today, and in the other game earlier today, Geelong by 40 points over Fremantle. Here's another look at this Burton mark.
Jumps on the top of his teammate Kurt Tippett and over Cruiser, and then gets the second lift off the pack. It's an extraordinary mark.
Thompson inboard. Vince, speaking of extraordinary, 33 possessions for Bernie Vince. Burton, Henschel. Just sits up for Thornton. O'Halpin. Russell, Armfield, Bauer. Well, they're their own worst enemy right now, the Blues. Drag down, ball up. 1 minute 12 left on the clock.
That's one about Drain. Can surveyors actually gauge the height? Can they actually measure that, see whether it was the highest mark ever in the history of the game?
Yeah. And our boys captured it beautifully. Little shrug. Dowdy got it from Dangerfield. And a free kick. It'll go to Seller. He gets a chance now to kick his first ever.
Well, they've all joined in the fun and games here. It looked to be a decent body-on-body contest. Brett Thornton can't believe it. But it's been all Adelaide today after quarter time. They have been super impressive, and they have sent a pretty clear message to everyone else that's playing finals footy that they're going to be a serious player over the next month.
It was a pick number 14 back in 2006. He was playing Glenelg's reserves a year ago. But he is rising to the challenge, and he kicks his first goal in AFL football, James Seller.
And everybody knows, I think that's lovely at this stage of a big game. I know they're so well in front. To come over and share his first goal like that, there was no doubt that all his teammates realised this was the maiden one.
James Seller gets his first, the 13th individual goal kicker for the Crows, and that very remote chance of snagging fourth spot is getting a little bit closer, Dwayne. We're getting word that if Collingwood were to win in the vicinity of 11 goals against the Bulldogs, that there may be a sufficient percentage turnaround to sneak the Crows into fourth spot.
They might add a little bit more to it. Seller in the closing seconds gets the handball up. Marriage on the siren. He doesn't score. Well, as the song tells you, they are the pride of South Australia, and they'll carry that state's chances into September again this year. A massive 27-goal, 14-176 scoreline away from home for the Adelaide Crows to Carlton, 16-8, 104. And on the siren, the biggest margin of the game. 72 points, the victory, and 42,356 here at Etihad Stadium to see this round 22 contest. Didn't expect this. Let's head downstairs to Rowan Smith.
Thanks, Dwayne. Well, Goody, into another final series.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's 5 or 6 years in a row now. They've got a great group going and they've got a lot of belief, so it's fantastic.
What about going into tonight's game? You knew that the ramifications of a win and the ramifications of a loss.
Yeah, you're playing for a big prize. Home ground advantage for us is a really big deal, and we want to play home final in front of our supporters.
And it was a terrific win as well. 13 individual goal kickers and 27 goals.
Yeah, it's a great contribution from everyone. Our forward line was fantastic tonight, and the guys really lifted after a pretty slow start.
Now, quickly, what about the Birdman's mark?
Unbelievable. It's probably the biggest mark I've ever seen. It brought a smile to everyone's face. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, congratulations on the win. Good luck next week, mate. Well done.
Cheers, mate.
Well, come September, it might be the Beast of Burton that a few people have to try and stop from opposition teams. He is looming large, as are the Adelaide Crows in general. And I'm not sure where you're planning to be tomorrow, but I'd be finding a television set wherever you are around Australia or the world to have a look at the final game of the home and away season, the 176th game of the home and away season, because it will come down to Collingwood and the Western Bulldogs tomorrow.
It certainly will. It's interesting. We've seen the look on the faces of Chris Judd and a few of his teammates, almost like, what the hell hit us today? I haven't seen that much of Adelaide this season. I've seen enough to know they're a good side, but today they have found their best form at the right time of the year, and they will go into the September action with unbelievable momentum and confidence from what has been one of the most impressive performances I've seen for a long, long time, Parker.
I agree with that. And they took them on head-to-head at the start, and Carlton actually got hold of them a bit, kicked the first 6, and it was their defensive work. They put a couple behind the ball. Carlton elected to go with them. That, in fact, opened up the front half for Adelaide, and their work, Jace. I've never seen them with the ball to spin out to go for Blakes, but to chase them down over the game. Absolutely magnificent.
And a big Adelaide Crow portion in the crowd today as well, to see them win this game in emphatic style. 72 points the final margin. Just repeating, the Adelaide Crows 5th on the ladder right now as it stands. Will play the Bombers at home at Amy Stadium in an elimination final next week, depending on what happens percentage-wise and result-wise in the game between Collingwood and the Western Bulldogs. The Crows by 72.